Now to introduce you to the functions, the most basic functions that I want to go over are the sum and average. The sum is just like it sounds. It wants to sum up or add up a range of cells, like over here for each employee. I want to get the total for, well, this employee, for the sales that that person made for the months of January through April, over into the cell with a label up at the top for that column as total. So that way when I get some numbers here, I'm like, what are these numbers about? Oh, it's the total. And because it corresponds in a row that has the employee ID, I assume it's going to be for that employee. Otherwise, I better rebuild my database and make sure I understand what's going on. And so this is the way I'm going to structure it. So to go ahead and add up that range, let's use the sum function. You can either type in equals to put it in formula, or in this case function mode, and type in the letter S. It brings up a list of functions, and we're looking for sum. And in fact, you can see the left-hand side, well, it's kind of blurry. It's got an F and X, so the F is for function. So you can go ahead and scroll down to find the sum function, or you can do the process of elimination by narrowing the search by typing in additional letters here. So it goes down to SU. Well, there it is, sum. You can stop right there and then just go ahead and double-click on it to pop open the function. You can see the syntax down below that says, okay, here's the sum function. Now, in the first argument here is going to be a range. Number 1, it could be any range that you select. And then if you want to add additional ranges, include additional ranges that are not adjacent, then you can hit comma and select another range over here, comma, select another range, well, wherever. And then when you're done, hit the enter key on the keyboard. But I want to keep it simple, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and select the range over here of January through April on this row for that employee ID. So you can go ahead and click and drag to select the range. And you'll notice over here it started with C7 and it ends with F7. It's in the same row, 7, but different columns. And the colon means through. So C7, column C through F. Same row, 7. And if you made a mistake, of course, you can go ahead and hover over the border of the range that's selected until you can see a 4-way arrow and click and drag and move it around, as we discussed in an earlier training video here. I'm going to go ahead and move it back. And you can also, if you want to include additional adjacent cells, then you can hover over any one of these little squares here. Those are the resizing handles. When you hover over it, you'll get 2 black arrows pointing in opposite directions. That's the resizing handle, at least for the bottom right-hand corner. You can click and drag and select whatever range you want that suits your fancy, and then go ahead and hit enter. If you hit comma, then it has that as static, and it goes to the next argument that's in bold that says, okay, now select another range. Then go ahead and click and drag and select another range. Hit comma and select another range. I mean, we're just going crazy. It doesn't make sense, at least for what I want. I just want the total for this row here for that employee, but nonetheless you can do it. So if I don't want to make any more of an issue here, I can hit the backspace key and reselect it, or just hit the escape key and let's start over again. Equals SUM, and instead of double clicking on it, since it's highlighted, you can just go ahead and hit the tab key. But before I do that, you see when it's highlighted, it gives you a synopsis of it. This function adds all the numbers up in a range of cells. Well, that's nice. So that fits the bill. Let's go ahead and hit the tab key. Pops open the function. Go ahead and click and drag to select your range. And it's nice because the range is selectable within the view here. But if it wasn't, and it's in column Z, row 50,000, well, if you remember exactly the range, you can just type it in here and then hit enter, because I'm not going to scroll all the way over to column Z down to 50,000. That would just be crazy. And let's go ahead and hit enter, and there you go. Now, what's this green little triangle in the upper left-hand corner? What's that about? Go ahead and select the cell. You get a little smart tag, an indicator, gives you a warning. And when you hover over it, the synopsis says the formula in the cell refers to a range that has additional numbers adjacent to it. Did you know that? Of course we did. This is the range that we want, but there are numbers to the left, which is the employee ID, and there's numbers below it. So it's like, have you included everything? We're not sure. Excel's trying to help you out. So if you go back and you select it, and you hover over it, and you click on the drop-down arrow, well, you get a shorter explanation here. Formula omits adjacent cells. Okay. You can go ahead and ignore the error, in which case it gets rid of that little green triangle, so you're not bothered by it anymore. Or if you get a lot of those green triangles and that really bothers you, you can turn the feature off by going backstage, coming up here, clicking on the File tab, and going all the way down to Options. And then you want to click on the Formulas category, and you want to go down to error checking, and you can see enable background error checking. Just uncheck it and click OK, and you won't get those green little triangles anymore. In addition, you can have a color besides green that represents those errors. If you want it red, great, go ahead and choose your color. Or, well, let me check it again. You can reset the ignored errors. So if you get going along, you're ignoring, you're like, oopsie doodle, I shouldn't be ignoring those. Oh, what were those cells that contain those errors? Go ahead and click reset, click OK, and they'll pop back. Now before I go ahead and do that and click OK, up at the top here, let's go to the calculation options, as kind of a little sidebar that you've got the workbook calculations. Now by default, yours should probably say automatic. If it doesn't, go ahead and read that little pop-up. It says when automatic calculation is enabled, Excel recalculates the workbook automatically each time a value affecting a formula changes. So in other words, let me click and drag the title bar of this window over. You got all these cells that this cell or this formula is dependent upon. So if I change and update the cells for January for this employee to $1, that should automatically, at least in my opinion, update that. But it's not going to because it's manual. So this could be helpful if you don't want to update it automatically because you've got some sort of audit going on where you can update it, you got to enter in the numbers, but you don't want to lose track of what the original number was. Until that is, as you can see over here, that you save the workbook. Once you save it, it'll automatically do the recalculation for you and update it based upon, well, these cells here that the formula includes. So, well, I can go ahead and check automatic in any case. Keep that in mind. And then click okie dokie, and it's back again. That green little triangle. Oh, and so if I come over here and I change it to $1, it should update the monthly total automatically for January 1. Hit enter, and it does. I like that, but for audit purposes, maybe I can't do that and lose track of the original number until I'm ready, and I click save. In any case, let me hit undo to go back, and we'll continue on here. Let's go ahead and do this again. Let's type in equals SUM, and if you don't want to, pop open the function here by hitting the tab key, you can continue on, and you can leave it in lowercase. When you hit enter, a little butler will come in and put it in uppercase, the sum function, so just keep typing. Don't use the shift key. And then go ahead and type in the range of, well, for this employee, it's going to be column C to column F, but in the same row, 8. So let's type in C, 8, and it's got it highlighted so I know I'm in the right row. And then we do colon, which is through, and then now we got to update it to the next, well, to the last column F, and same row 8, and there it is, through. Fabulous. Everything's lowercase. Just go ahead and hit enter, and it puts it all in uppercase here. And is it accurate? Is that the total? Again, you can select the range, come down here to the total, 72,000, 72,000 and some change. Great. Let's go ahead and do it another way here. So when you type in equals, like I said, you get SUM, and you can see the little FX there for function. Let me hit the escape key on the keyboard a couple of times. You can also come up here, and there's the FX to insert a function, or you can come up here on the formulas bar and go to the function library and insert a function. And why would you want to do this? Oh, you can see in the pop-up, Shift F3 is the shortcut keys. Why would you want to do it this way? For me, I prefer typing it in. It's a lot faster, but if you want a little bit more detail of what the function's about, well, let's just come down here and click on the insert function. It opens it up, and you can go ahead and search for it. Unless it's one that you've most recently used, as it says here, the sum function. You can click on the drop-down arrow and say, well, the function I'm looking for is date and time. And you can go through here, find like the day function, and go down below. It shows you the syntax with the argument inside, and it tells you what it's about. Returns the day of the month, a number from 1 to 31. Ooh, that's fancy. And you can go ahead and do it that way. Or if you're not sure what category it's in, you can do one of two things. You can select all, and it includes all the functions. Just scroll down until you find the S's for sum. That's one way. Or you can come up here and it says type a brief description of what you want to do and click go. That's a little bit dangerous, but if I can type in what I'm looking for, sum, summary, and click go, well, it brought it up, but it says rephrase your question, but in any case, I can do, how about average? I want to do an average, click go. And it recommends a lot of different average functions. Well, z-test, what's that about? Returns the one-tailed p-value of a z-test. Oh, great, okay. And you can do it any one of those ways. So let me go back and let's just go to the most recently used, which is the sum function. Double click, and it opens up the function arguments window. Now in this window right here, let me click and drag the title bar down because it's in the way. It's selecting the column H7 through H8. But that's not what I want. It just sees adjacent numbers and it's pulling those in. So you can do one of a couple of things to get the correct number. You can either go ahead and type it in, or the correct range that is, which is going to be, well, okay, row 9, column C, C9 through F9. So go ahead and type it in, C9 colon, which means through F9, and then you can validate that by looking over here, and it's pulling in those range of numbers. So 19,210, 19,210, there you go, 15,000, 15,000, great. Well, and also down below you get the total for that range for these sum functions, 71,000 plus. You can do it that way, or you can go ahead and, let's delete it, and click on the collapsible dialog box, because when you click on it, it collapses to allow you to move around here unimpeded, well, at least this being smaller, and go ahead and click and drag to select it, and you can see it right there, what you have selected, as well as the marching ants going around it. And then you can either go ahead and click on the expand button to pop it back open, and then click OK if you're okay with that, or let me collapse it again. You can just hit the Enter key on the keyboard to pop it back open. So there's one selection. If you want to include others in that syntax in the next argument, which is number 2, you can collapse that and choose another range here, then hit Enter to pop it back open. And then you've got your ranges here, 2 separate ranges, and then the total for those 2 separate ranges. But I don't want to do that. I want to keep it simple and just include one range. Why would you want to do it this way? Well, you get a bit more help when there are some new functions and explanations, as you can see down below, of what the function is going to do. And you can get some live stats over to the right-hand side about what you have selected, as in this case, as well as the output, and see if that's what you're expecting. And then when you're finished, you can go ahead and click OK, and there you go. Now, in addition to the insert functions that you have up here, it's also broken down by category without having to open up the insert function in that window to see it in those different categories as we went over. You also got financial, or the functions there, text, logical, date and time, again the day function there, cool. You can do that, or let me go down to the next cell and do our last range here and show you the Autosum. You can go ahead and click on the drop down arrow and it will automatically sum up a range of cells. You can also get the average of a range, and what that does is when I click Sum, automatically selects the range, well, the adjacent cells, but we don't want that range. But to get the correct range, all we have to do is go ahead and click and drag, and it'll update and select the correct range, and whoo-wee, that's really fast, right? Just go ahead and click that, hit Enter, automatically sums up the range. I just had to click and drag after I clicked on Autosum. Click on it again, and ooh, I can get the Autosum of the total here. Let me hit the Escape key to back out. And like I said, you can also do it for the average. If you want to come back up here and click on the drop down arrow and get the average, puts in the average function, it selects an adjacent cell, and we don't want the average of one cell, we want the average of this range right here. So average is C7 through F7, hit Enter, great. Now, as you recall, you can copy and paste the formula or use the autofill handle that we covered in an earlier training video by hovering over the bottom right hand corner. You get the black cross, you can double click really fast, and it'll automatically fill in the rest of the formula. Now that double click on the lower right hand corner of the black autofill handle only works when you're in a column. It doesn't work when you're trying to go from left to right. So as I'll show you here, let me delete this range here, come over here and double click, see it goes down. It doesn't go from left to right, so don't do that. Let me hit undo a couple of times. So that's a quick way to quickly autofill in everything down below. Or you can do it the long way. You can copy and paste, and then copy the formula and paste it. Now let's make sure that it's all correct. We have different numbers, so that's a good indicator because these are different numbers here. And so selecting the cell up here in the formula bar, it's not row 7, is it? Which was the original row here. It's row 8. So it's dynamic. And when we copy and paste, it updates it relative to the new position. And we'll talk about relative and absolute references in a later training video. Right here we want to keep it simple. Then the new row is 9. The next row should be 10. Yep, everything looks good. And of course you can always go ahead and select the range, and at least for these simple functions, go down below and verify that of the selected range we've got 23,000 and well over 23,000. There we go, we got a match. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please look in the description below this video.